Hello, my name is Iris Ramirez. After reviewing Marlowe's case, I will now identify one model of addiction that best explains his substance use. I will explain why the model is most appropriate. I will describe how I will implement motivational interviewing when I engage him. And I will also provide one referral to the appropriate level of care. The model that best explains Marlowe's substance use is the disease model of addiction. I selected the disease model of addiction because Marlowe's presentation reflects hallmark features of a progressive, compulsive substance use disorder rather than its situational or experimental use. The disease model conceptualizes addiction as a chronic, relapsing disorder involving neurobiological changes in reward, motivation, and impulse control systems. This framework is particularly relevant to in adolescence where functioning and risk regulations are still developing. Marlowe demonstrates multiple DSM-5 indicators consistent with at least a moderate substance use disorder. This includes recurrent use resulting in failure to fulfill major obligations, such as like school, being absent, not doing his homework, sleeping in class, continued use despite family concern and school consequences, escalation to polysubstance use, including marijuana and prescription opiates, engagement in methamphetamine distribution and to financially sustain use, a prior unsuccessful attempt to initiate treatment. What is particularly concerning is not only the use itself, but the behavioral progression, moving from personal use to distribution. This reflection impaired control and reinforcement driven behavior consistent with the disease model understanding of compulsibility. Additionally, the presence of parental alcoholism, considering that his father is an alcoholic, suggests potential genetic vulnerability, straining the biological component of this model. Conceptualizing Marlowe's behavior through the disease model allows us to move away from moral explanations and instead recognize the need to structured medical and behavioral intervention. Because Marlowe has previously refused treatment, direct confrontation would likely increase resistance. Therefore, I would intentionally adopt a motivational intervene stance. First, I will express empathy. I will begin by acknowledging his anonymity, reducing defensiveness. Marlowe, I will say something like, Marlowe, I'm not here to label you or force you into anything. I'm here to understand what this experience has been like for you. This communicates partnership rather than authority. And then I would develop discrepancy, right? Rather than telling him what is wrong, I would explore discrepancies between his values and behavior. I'll say something like, when you picture your life in a year from now, what do you hope it looks like? Where do substance fit in the picture? This invites self-reflection rather than compliance. Then I would roll with resistance. If he minimizes or rationalizes his use, I would respond with reflective statements instead of arguments. It sounds like from your perspective, this hasn't fell out of control. By not opposing him, I reduce power struggles and I allow ambivalence to surface naturally. Next, I would support self-efficacy. Finally, I would reinforce, strengths. I'll say something like, you manage school, peers, and family stressors. That tells me you have the capacity to make hard decisions when you're ready. The goal is to evoke internal motivation and enhance self-efficacy rather than impose external pressure. Throughout the interaction, I would rely on open-ended questions, strategic reflection, and affirmations to elicit change talk and increase readiness. Given the severity indicators, polysubstance active use, active methamphetamine distribution, academic distortion, family history of addiction, the prior refusal of like outpatient assessment, I would refer Marlowe to residential treatment. Residential treatment is clinically appropriate because it provides 24-hour supervision and environmental containment. It removes access to substance use, high risk peer networks. It allows for comprehensive psychiatric and substance use evaluations. It integrates structured individual, group, and family therapy, and it addresses both behavioral and systemic contributors. Given his involvement in this in distribution and the and demonstrated like the resistance to lower levels of care, outpatient services will likely be insufficient at this time. If physiological opiate dependence is identified, medical detoxification may be required prior to residential placement. In summary, Marlowe's presentation reflects a progressive and impairing substance use disorder most consistent with the disease model of addiction. Motivational interviewing provides a collaborative, evidence-based approach to address resistance and to enhance intrinsic motivation. Due to the level of severity and functional impairment, residential treatment represents the most clinically appropriate intervention to stabilize and initiate recovery. Thank you very much.